Ben is a director of 2 offices on the Mornington Peninsula, and with only a few short years of taking ownership of the business, Ben's growth has been significant to say the least. Ben is an award-winning agent, director and applauded auctioneer who brings a wealth of knowledge not only to his market, but to the industry itself. 3 words to describe Ben: knowledgeable, passionate and meticulous. Well, good afternoon or good morning. I guess it depends on what time of the day you're watching your video. Lucky today to be joined by Ben Kenyon, who is a director of 2 offices here on the Mornington Peninsula in both Rosebud and Rye. Now, Ben, I just had a chat to Ben before this video started, and I've been a fan of Ben's for some time because I'm a Mornington Peninsula boy as well. So I literally drive past his office, which we're in right now in the boardroom, every single day. And I've admired Ben's his social media presence, an acclaimed auctioneer, and really what he's doing here in this Mornington Peninsula marketplace. Because I'm living here, I'm very familiar with the market. And over the last 12 months, the things that he's been doing, him and his team, have been really quite sensational. And I guess we're fortunate today to have the opportunity to talk to Ben and get a bit of an insight in regards to his business, where that business is heading, and also some of the characteristics that he feels good agents need to be successful in the real estate industry. So Ben, thank you for your time today, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for asking me, I appreciate it.
So I guess to begin with, background. You gave me a bit of a rundown before the video, before we started this right now, but if you can just give the viewers a bit of a background in regards to what I guess essentially what your journey has been in real estate to date.
Yep, yeah, fantastic, yeah, definitely. So I've been in real estate for about 11, 12 years. Really enjoyed it. I mean, I love the people aspect of it, getting to meet people. Obviously helping people sort of achieve their property goals. But originally I started in the Hawthorn sort of more premium market, which gave me a really good background, a really good understanding of what you needed to do to be successful in real estate. And then subsequent to that, came down here about four and a bit years ago and started up Rye, and in the last 12 months started up Rosebud as well.
Gotcha. So the change from essentially that sort of Bundara marketplace, or that sort of market out to the peninsula, what's the go there? So was it so just you wanted to move down here for the lifestyle?
Yeah, look, it's been pretty dramatic change.
Yeah.
But I must admit it's been fantastic. I really enjoy the change. Probably initially I was probably didn't allow myself to really enjoy it, but after a period of time, it's really grown on me, which has been good. But look, I was sort of at a crossroads in my career. Both my partner and I, she was pregnant. We were looking, what are we going to do? And I've really always wanted to, I guess, drive my own ship a little bit to a degree. And the opportunity sort of came up down here in Rye to potentially take over a business that was pretty established. I've been here for 25 years, had a really good name, and with my limited budget as well, it probably suited that. And my partner and I sort of did the drive down, came down here, and I think we're standing on the Rye Pier, and it was just one of those beautiful Mornington Peninsula days. And just felt right, and we thought, let's jump into it. So we started. Within 4 days, she went into labour. It was the first Saturday doing open for inspections.
Far out.
So it was quite an initiation. But it's just gone from strength to strength. Certainly had its challenges, but definitely really enjoy it.
As business ownership, always does.
Yeah.
So you're obviously, and one of the things, this Peninsula marketplace hasn't had, I guess, necessarily a strong auction culture.
Yeah.
And for those of you who haven't seen Ben as an auctioneer, jump on his LinkedIn, have a look at his auctioneering skills, an acclaimed auctioneer. Do you think from your previous group then coming out to the peninsula, do you think that auction culture was sort of embedded?
It was, it was completely embedded in me. And look, you know, when I first came down here, probably I certainly came down here with the mindset that that's what I was going to do, and that it would naturally be successful. But you know, there was a learning curve, to be honest, because some properties at the time you just didn't really warrant it because you just didn't get as much buyer activity as you would hope on it. But you know, it has dramatically shifted since COVID. That it's really the correct way and the best process to be selling to maximise your sale price, and that's ultimately, you know, what we do as agents is try to get the best price for our vendors. But you know, it's probably allowed us as a group to really flourish a little bit from it because we could really transition quite easy into that process. Whereas a lot of the other agents down here were predominantly private sale based, private negotiation, that sort of thing, and I think that they probably lagged behind a little bit. But yeah, it's been really quite successful from there.
And with regards to, for the viewers out there, where Ben's office is based, essentially is in the heart of the Mornington Peninsula. So the Mornington Peninsula, post-COVID, or we're sort of still in COVID, but post-lockdowns has experienced unbelievable capital growth, like off the charts capital growth. And that's primarily, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Ben, but that people want to move down here for the lifestyle, and people's work environments have become more flexible, so they can work more remotely. And the lifestyle this offers down here is, I mean, it's awesome. As I said, I live here as well, so it's awesome.
No, you're spot on. I mean, they're the exact driving factors from it. It's been COVID. The fact you can't travel interstate easily, certainly overseas is really difficult. You know, obviously it's coming back a little bit now, but the ability to be able to work from home, we're only really about an hour away from the city. So you know, a lot of the buyers I meet will, you know, commute 1 or 2 days a week, but they'll live at home for 3 days, and it's just really driven the market. I mean, I've been doing real estate for over a decade. I've never seen capital growth like this before. I mean, I'm reminded of one property I had in St Andrews Beach, which is the very first property I listed and was running. I did the open, and you know, you'd struggle to see a person through it. And the last, you know, and that was around that sort of 600, 700 price point. The last 2 properties we sold on the street was 1.6 and 2.4 million. You know, with 30 plus groups coming through. It's just amazing. So
coming into a new market, like brand new, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like you've gone into a very polar opposite market to what you were accustomed to. What are the sort of things that you did for the viewers out there, whether they're experienced or new agents? What are the sort of things that you did as an agent to gain traction? So from what we just discussed, the fact that you're a very, very good auctioneer was a point of difference out there in the market. But how did you get traction?
I think, you know, real estate, regardless of where you are, it's all about the fundamentals. You know, doing the basics right. But you know, for me, you know, one of the first things we did initially was we tried to do video on a lot of properties, which was sort of in its infancy a little bit back then. I mean, everybody does it now, so it's probably lost the feel of it. But you know, we did that, and that really helped certainly get some people. And we did a lot of social media. Like I invested a lot of my own personal money into it. And that really definitely sort of kicked on a little bit. Now again, everyone's doing it, so it sort of loses its ground a little bit. But for me, LinkedIn's been a real source of listings. You know, because I did have a decent, you know, I knew a lot of people in Melbourne. And a lot of Melbourne people don't know agents down here. So, you know, it was amazing that I never got the amount of referral-based business that I did in Melbourne after being there for nearly a decade. Versus coming down here and being here for 3-4 years. All those people now refer me work down here because they don't know anyone. So that's been really successful.
So that's people who are based in there that have holiday homes or friends that live in the peninsula or whatever the case might be.
Agents too, vendor advocates, things like that. So that's been one of our driving factors.
And that's obviously a testament to you, because you know, people who are, especially in the industry, are not going to refer friends and families to somebody who has no idea what they're doing. So obviously they've got a really high level of confidence in you and your ability and your integrity, and that's why they're steering business in your direction. So for a new agent who's, what do you think, because obviously now, I mean, and this office, Ben just showed me around this office, and it's massive. It's massive. So this is the boardroom table. I mean, the boardroom is the size of some offices. in its entirety. You've got this beautiful front foyer. The office is wide and it's deep. So it's got the infrastructure to build an enormous team.
Yeah.
Which is, I know what, you're looking to build a team and really, have an extremely strong presence across all of Mornington Peninsula. So what would you think, and this is more so geared towards a new agent, what are some of the character, even established agents who might have lost their mojo or whatever, what do you think are some of the character traits that an agent needs to have to be successful in real estate?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the two main ones are just work ethic, but also being a good person, really. I mean, it sounds stupid, but people want to connect with people that they trust and that they like. I mean, I think gone are the days where people want a real estate shark, that sort of thing that comes through the door. You need to have some empathy, but I also believe in keeping it quite professional as well. I mean, you'll see a lot of new agents, they'll come into the industry with the motto, I guess, that it's that client for life thing, which is great. But that they expect that the client's going to be the best friend, or they're going to get invited to the wedding or something. I think really a lot of people want to keep it quite transactional to a degree, and that's something I think I'm really good at. I keep it very professional, but
you know where the boundaries are.
Yeah, I know where the boundaries are. And I think really that's what people want. They don't want an agent that comes into their house and they can't get out the door. That sort of.
I totally agree. I've heard other agents who essentially just hope to be friends with the client, and that's their entire model. And in the hope that if they like me, they're going to list with me. And sure, those same agents might trip over listings every now and again.
I agree.
But as far as having a high results career, it doesn't happen because they haven't got some sort of model that's on replication that's highly competent. It's all ad hoc.
I agree. And that's what I try to keep it to, keep it very professional. It also becomes a bit of a volume thing as well. I mean, the more volume you do, so for like Rye, for example, I've now sold the most in Rye for the last 12 months.
Awesome.
And that's taken a long time to get there, and it's been something I'm really trying to dedicate myself to. And boards breed boards, and the more you're selling, the more opportunities that come about.
But if you just on that, it hasn't really taken. I mean, it's been. If we break that down, you entered this market 4 years ago. The peninsula is fairly incestuous. So there's been agents established down here for decades. So although if you actually look at it, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's actually happened quite quick. In a 4 year window, it might seem like a
it probably does for you, but it's felt longer for me. It's a good point you mentioned, right? I mean, that's one point of difference that I have tried to do. I realised when I came down here, trying to target that local business might be a little bit fruitless. Like I certainly hope to pick some of it up. But a lot of these agents, they've gone to school with the vendors. They've known it for 10, 20 years. They've played football with them, that sort of stuff. So it isn't necessarily the market I've deliberately targeted. I've targeted the people that have it as a holiday home, right? So it's very much a catch and kill sort of thing when you catch up with these vendors. They're down here for the day. You get one opportunity. And I think that's where I flourish, as opposed to the ones that you're talking about where they want to come in. They want to be their best friends, that sort of stuff. I'll come in and be quite professional, and generally I've got a really good strike rate with that sort of stuff. But naturally you start to pick up that market as well. People that have lived here their whole life as well. And sometimes people don't want to deal with people they know. It's that professionalism thing again. Because they want to keep business and personal separate.
So as far as traction, so social media has been good for you. With yourself and the team, from a prospecting standpoint, is there any sort of key initiatives that you sort of focus on, whether it be cold calling, door knocking? Is there certain ones, because I understand it could be a bit hit and miss down here because there is a lot of holiday homes and so on. Is there, and in that scenario, it's fairly diverse because you've got a large portion or larger portion with COVID of people who have a principal place of residence, but also a large portion of purely holiday homes. So has there been sort of some key initiatives that you've done as a team that you found to be more successful than others?
Yeah, I mean, it is very, very different to what I was used to in Melbourne because,
Yeah.
a lot of the people there are holiday homes. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at some points of the year, in Rye in particular, there'd be 50-60% of the homes that are vacant,
Yeah.
because nobody's there. So, the traditional things where you leave letters or you door knock or cold call, very difficult.
Yeah.
Right? But we are afforded with quite a few opportunities. And the phone does ring, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it's very much just about perfecting the listing and getting the business when you get the opportunity.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because it's probably not as fruitful as it is in Melbourne in terms of how often you can do appraisals and people want updates and that sort of things.
Yeah.
So it's very much you've got to get it right when you get the opportunity.
Yeah, I love that. So just from taking away from what you've just said, so the social media aspect has been a good one because people, whether they live here or not, are going to see that presence.
Yeah.
When you do have the opportunity, have a very, very highly competent listing presentation, and really try and secure the business.
Yeah.
And then off the leverage of that listing,
Then
that has then given you more opportunities.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
combined with that, you being a very strong auctioneer and having that presence and having a lot of people come to the opens and to the auctions, that has also had an add-on effect to the growth of the business.
Yeah, and look, our team's relatively small. I mean, across both offices, we're now up to 10 or 11 people. So, we're not talking a huge team. Certainly, I find it challenging enough as it is at that sort of level. Something that I'd love to scale further. But, you don't need a dramatic team down here. I mean, I've been really successful out of Rye, pretty much running everything myself. I've only just put a PA on in the last couple of months, just because the workload was getting to a point that was unachievable. But
especially with a baby and your wife at home.
And another baby, so 2 kids. So it's been keeping us busy. But
so what's and we'll wrap up after this, but just want to give an indication. So have you got goals that you've set out for 2022?
Yeah, definitely. Mine's probably more based around GCI. But I had my best ever year last year, which was fantastic. So it's wanting to at least 30-40% above that, but also really ramping up Rosebud as well. Some other director who we run it with, he's unfortunately popped his Achilles, so he's out of action for 2 months, which hasn't been great timing either. So it's getting a little bit more involved there. But I mean, hopefully the market stays really good, and we can certainly improve on last year. Yeah.
Well, you're doing great things down here. And sometimes it's hard to know that when you're just going flat stick the whole time, you're just doing your very, very best. But I can certainly say, as somebody who's in the industry and somebody who lives on the peninsula, you are certainly, you're certainly making waves. And pardon the pun. And with that being said as well, I totally agree with you. I used to be of the mindset that people share was market share. And at one stage we had 50 plus in my business, 50 plus team members. But what I've learned from that is that, you'd far rather have quality over quantity, because then the people who are in front of the people have the best opportunity.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Definitely couldn't agree more. I mean, it's all about profitability really at the end of the day. That's what we're in it for. And I learned quickly that I'm 36, right? So having someone that's much older than me or employing them probably isn't going to work as well as I would have hoped initially. So, we're very much a young team. We all get along. And, that's really important. I think, your team and how everybody gets along is so fundamentally important to the success of your business.
100%. You're building then on strong, solid foundations. It's not a house of cards.
Yeah. And we've been really lucky, with attrition with staff. We just haven't really had it, which hopefully it'll stay like that. But it's been good.
No worries. Well, look, Ben, thank you so much for your time today.
Pleasure.
You're doing great things, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers out there will take a lot away from what we've spoken about. My big takeaways were entering a new market, strong social media presence, the fact that you're an auctioneer, that method of sale and you were good at it, was very different for the area. So that made people's eyes sort of, and ears prick up. And in regards to when you do get the opportunity, you're very highly skilled. So make sure that when you're in the door,
Yeah.
across the industry as a whole, that you have a very, very highly skilled listing presentation. It's giving yourself the best opportunity to get the business.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Mate, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
really looking forward to seeing what happens in 2022.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
mate.
Cheers.